Welcome back to Dylan of Sid Meier's Civilization 4 Colonization, where we continue the conquest of the Americas of the Dutch. I think that's the best use of him nearby. And the Spanish are trying to be sneaky and get away. I cannot allow that. Sadly, he did not have any goods on him. We've also got a dry dock awaiting tools in England's Folly. Next up, let's go with, I suppose, a fortress. Why not? Let's do that. Got the dock in Anchorage. Next up is going to be a warehouse. We always need more storage here. They keep running out of space for the furs. Got some more goods unloaded, and we now need to do some more purchasing, but I got to think about what I want to get. I tell you what, I'll need another distiller, so I'll grab him. I need another lumberjack, and not too long, so I'll grab one of those. We also need space for another tobacconist here pretty soon, so we'll grab a master tobacconist. And then we'll hold right there, I think. Yeah, let's hold right there, and let's just buy some more tools from Europe to help hold us over until the tool industry gets really going. And our population is actually growing fast enough that we've outstripped our educational facilities. So this free colonist is going to actually become a soldier. Why not? Welcome to the army. Based on how our percent culture is growing in the Incan lands, we should be okay for a little while, but they might come after us eventually. The Sioux should be alright as well. We don't end up taking their lands for a little while. This means that we have pretty good odds of taking down the Spanish, but I am going to need some soldiers to hold the line while we siege down their cities, so that guy will stay a soldier. And we got our first home-built frigate. And we got our first home-built merchantman as well. Another privateer wouldn't be a bad idea to help lock down the north, but an arsenal is an even better idea for that extra Liberty Bell production as well as extra gun production, so we'll go for an arsenal next. We built a newspaper in Beaverton. I don't see much point in building anything else in Beaverton, at least for the moment. So I'm going to have them switch over to probably military points. I'm really thinking about doing the religious points though. I'm just not sure how viable that is considering how many we'd need. We've got the warehouse in Ontario. We're going to work on a stockade next. Yeah, let's do that. And John Paul Jones has offered to join our cause. He'll provide one frigate. No. No, thank you. In the original colonization, that was a pretty good deal, I think. But here, I don't think it's a good idea at all. We can just build a frigate. There's no problem with that. Now, Thomas Paine is a very interesting option. Increases hammer production by the tax rate. I would take that, absolutely. We're probably going to be hurting for lumber super bad now. Our frigate is going to head on up north, and we're going to probably harass the Spanish. Yeah, my goods are so complicated now that I'm going to actually give a shot at automating the trade system. So to do that, you go to Governor, and then you can do imports and exports, etc. So for instance, Remembrance is going to import food, silver, cotton, cloth, coats, rum, cigars, and horses, and export lumber to the other colonies. And I just got to go through and set that up for all these others. And then hopefully the automated trade system will be able to handle it. I've never used it, but we're going to find out. You can also set up like a minimum amount to keep on hand, like in tobacco. I want to keep some tobacco on hand just in case I ever need it for the tobacconist. I don't think I ever will. We seem to be perfectly set up with just 2 tobacco planters, but we're going to have more, so we ship the tobacco out. But we do want to keep 20 just in case. You probably don't want to automate moving tools around. You probably want to do that manually because tools are important, as well as guns for the most part. Horses you can probably automate for a little while, and then just centralize a stockpile of horses. To ensure the automated trade system works, I'm going to build a couple more wagon trains just to kind of flood the system to ensure that even if there's some kind of inefficiency, that it gets overcome through pure numbers. We're going to get plenty of military points by attacking the Spanish in not too long, although we are generating quite a few military points just by building them. Actually, no, I think we've lost military points because we spent it, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Building points at this point in time is probably not advisable just because it takes so many points to get any founding fathers at all. It might be reasonable for the religious people though. Yeah, let's do it that anybody that builds points from now on is going to build religious points. And if we get enough points for religion, we can get better relations with the natives, and we might be able to overcome the whole revolutionary problem, where the difficulty makes it almost impossible for us to be nice to the natives. And we're of course going to take some more elder statesmen. We always need more elder statesmen. With a printing press built in Rum Central, we're going to build a rum factory next. Let's offload all these goods, and then let's think about maybe picking up some more people. One elder statesman is going to get sent to Hammerenville, and the other elder statesman is going to get sent up to Rome Central. With that, we'll have elder statesmen in most of our colonies. Some of them are going to get trained to do tobacco planting in the future, but we do need some more statesmen in these outlying colonies out here, although they're doing pretty well on revolutionary support as is. It's never bad to have more though. Of course it does make the REF stronger, but we should have such a powerful army that it really won't matter. Especially with like huge bonuses on attacking them. And after the waves come, our army will get progressively stronger and stronger with every promotion that it gets. Alright, it is time to begin working on the second tools facility. To do that, we're going to need some farmers to support it, as well as some blacksmiths and some carpenters. But the carpenters, I think I can... No, let's leave the carpenters where they're at in most cases. Although I could probably take them from places like Beaverton, where I don't need them anymore, truly. So let's not get carpenters, we'll just hijack them from them. We'll just hijack the carpenters from other colonies and move them up to the Toll City. We're going to need a number of farmers to support though. So let's get some farmers. And then let's get a blacksmith, put them on the ship. We need some gold on hand. Ooh, only 255, that's not to train anybody really, but we should make plenty of money on the next turn. Well, 2 turns. I accidentally sent back a ship with colonists on it. Be careful who you choose to send back, that's for sure. Got the warehouse built in Denver. I think Denver's going to be used to build more wagon trains just to see if we can force the automated system to work properly. James Madison has offered to join our cause. With him, we get +3 muskets per armory, magazine, and arsenal. Let's take a look. So James Madison is a politics founding father. We can always get more political points quite rapidly, but that's really not that much of an increase in production in my opinion. Betsy Ross isn't very interesting either, neither is Washington Irving. And Alexis de Tocqueville isn't that interesting as well. But if we don't take them, then we'll just eventually lose out on the political points. We'll generate so many political points that we won't need more. Like, we have enough military points on hand to get Marquis de Lafayette, so we'll probably pick him up in not too long. All of our trade people have been taken. We no longer have the option to pick any more trade people. The same thing is true of the exploration founding fathers. We no longer have the opportunity to pick any of them, so now we're down to politics, military, and religion. Religion we are producing some points towards, but not a whole lot. This means that we almost might as well just accept Madison, and then we could build armories all over the place to generate natural free guns. So let's just go ahead and take them. It's not like it really stunts us in any particular way. For 50 gold? Sure, man, I'll take that. I'll pay you some money. That makes him a little bit happier. Actually, I probably should have said no and then had him increase the rate at which he increased the taxes. We built a fortress in England's Folly. We're going to start working immediately upon a cigar factory. And we dumped a fairly good load of goods. We'll have to think about what it is that we want to select now. What I'm probably going to want is another farmer, and then a blacksmith, as well as a lumberjack. We'll need to keep everybody else on hand I wanted to keep the rest of the gold on hand for training units. I'll keep this merchantman here temporarily. Well, no, I'll send it back. We built a warehouse in Anchorage. We're going to build a stockade next, just in case the Incans decide to go to war with us. We've also got a stockade in Ontario. Now that we have that, I think that I would prefer to start building religion points. Let's do that. We've got that ironworks, the tier 3 tool factory in Hammerenville. Next up is going to be a printing press to increase our revolutionary support here faster. And Thomas Hooker is offering to join our cause. Let's see. Oh wow. We're gaining a lot of religion points very rapidly. I don't see any reason not to take them. We can send those missionaries out and get some more converted natives, why not? Sold off a bunch of goods, let's pick up some more tools just to satisfy us in the meantime. The Sioux are becoming annoyed of us now. They're at -5 for our way of life is threatening them, so they're -1 overall. The Inca are doing okay, actually. The Inca, I'm going to send some of these, I'm going to send all these missionaries actually over to them using a merchantman. The blacksmith and the 2 farmers are going to get equipped with some horses, all of them. I'm going to send them over to the future tool city immediately. After some slight hiccups with the automated transports, it does seem that for the most part they're being effective in what I need them to do. So I guess it was just some minor hiccups because I had a backlog of resources. I tend to have a habit of just focusing on the core colonies and then kind of forgetting to send wagon trains out. And then kind of forgetting to send wagon trains out to the distant colonies such as Ontario and Anchorage. But I think they've pretty much taken care of everything, especially with the Lewis and Clark +1 movement to wagon trains. They're pretty capable. And I'm just throwing more shit at the wall, so to say, with all these wagon train production sites. I am actually going to need to automate my tools a fair bit here, because I need to move the tools constantly from the tool factories over to the gun factories. We always need more statesmen, so that's what we're going to take. And we always need more wagon trains. The printing press is done in Hammerenville. The newspaper is going to be next. This elder statesman is going to get some horses, and he's going to ride out to the future tool city right away. And we've got a whole bundle of people to send out to various places. One farmer grabs some horses, heads out to the tool city. Mr. Rum Distiller gets to head on to Rum Central. Now this blacksmith, let's go ahead and send him to Tool City as well. One of these lumberjacks is going to walk somewhere. The tobacconist is going to walk down to England's Folly as well. We don't have enough horses on hand in Remembrance to actually move everybody, so they're just going to take their time going elsewhere. One lumberjack will get sent on Beaverton. Beaverton could use a lumber supply as well, or extra lumber supply. All these Jesuit missionaries get loaded up in a merchantman, and that merchantman sails off to the Incan lands. Marquis de Lafayette has offered to join us. He'll increase our gun production by the tax rate. I think that sounds pretty reasonable. Let's take him. We've got a cigar factory in England's Folly. Now, let's go with a shipyard. Next, we've got a newspaper in Hammerenville. Next up, let's just go ahead and build a warehouse expansion as well. Our frigate has arrived in the area of the Spanish. We're going to declare war on them quite shortly, and we want to train that frigate up. We're not really going to use the privateers so much anymore, other than to just spot, and we'll just live in a state of perpetual war with every other colony here. I actually do need access to more sugar planters, so a sugar planter here is going to get converted into a scout from Rum Central. It's going to slow down our rum production temporarily, but we need to send them back to England's Folly specifically. We do cotton and tobacco planting, I think, in, yes, Remembrance, and we do cotton planting in England's Folly. Our educational facilities are actually getting kind of overwhelmed. We might want to open a third educational facility. And I'm growing so rapidly that I'm kind of losing track of how many colonists I have and where they're going. So let's just make that worse. Let's just grab a bunch of farmers. Why not? Let's do it. Makes it even more painful. There's number 3, and let's send them off. We'll grab another elder statesman. I think that we're approaching as many elder statesmen as we're going to get, but we are going to expand to more colonies pretty soon. We're basically going to begin kind of a push westward. We want to supercharge our guns production and our food production. Although, considering how steady our prices have been, our prices have like almost not changed at all. Silver is just now down to 15, and it's 1681 AD. We produced a pretty good amount of silver. The Dutch are way too powerful, but Simon Bolivar is pretty powerful too. His double strength and rebel sentiment is pretty wonderful. You can get like plus 100% strength versus everybody if you have 100% overall rebel sentiment. Let's actually build some armories in some places now and get some free gun production going. Although those religion points are looking pretty good too. Now let's do the armories, and then after we get the armories done, we'll go into religion production once more. Our people have arrived to begin building tools factory number 2. Let's begin setting up. And this one, what shall we name it? Let's name it Detroit. Not a foreboding name at all. And the first thing that we're going to work on is a lumber mill here to get everything else built faster. Our expert farmers are already set up. Going to set up the elder statesman as well as the master blacksmith doing carpentry temporarily. And we got a wagon train waiting to pick up the extra horses and ship them elsewhere. The elder statesman that we just trained up is going to get sent to Rum Central. Right, though, I did mean to move one carpenter from here over to the tool city, Beaverton, to Detroit. We'll send that up immediately. And then I need to pull a carpenter from somewhere else. Probably pull it from Bacco. No, there's only one carpenter here. I'll leave him there. We could probably pull him from Hammerenville. There's not much else that we need to build here, so let's do that. Let's pull a carpenter from Hammerenville, not as a pioneer, please, but as a scout. And we'll send him on down to Detroit. We've got the shipyard basically done in England's Folly. We're just waiting on some tools. We're going to build an armory in the meantime. And then the rum factory is done in Rum Central. Let's build a warehouse next. 65% tax rate, sure, whatever, bro. Yeah, man, we actually need a third educational facility. We have 3 additional colonists waiting to do their thing. It's not yet time to supercharge the production of the military, I don't think. Looks like Beaverton might be the next setup for a educational facility, which means that we need more carpenters in Beaverton. So these 3 colonists can get sent down to Beaverton. They'll do carpentry temporarily, and we'll just have to ship some more people over to Beaverton that are carpenters from Europe. I've actually got an overflowing number of guns in Remembrance and England's Folly, so now I have to go through and set up a gun stockpile in every single city. We're also producing such a huge amount of fur that I need to also build a secondary coat production facility, which is probably going to be so-called Cigar Town 2.0. Is probably going to be Coats Are Us. Alright, we got that arsenal built in Remembrance. Now we probably want to just start pumping out like frigates like crazy. I don't see any reason to do anything else. We make a frigate every 4 turns, that's incredible. Got a warehouse in Rum Central. Next up is going to be a newspaper. And an armory in Hammerenville. Let's go ahead and just build a stockade, why not? We could get Betsy Ross, but that's a awful founding father. +3 cloth. I don't want this garbage. No thanks. At some point in time, Sitting Bull and the French stopped going to war. I should have recognized that some time ago, but it's alright. We got some more farmers from Europe. We're going to get them set up as, well, we would get them set up as some scouts, but there are no horses here. Not enough horses, at least. I guess we'll go ahead and just have them casually walk over to Detroit, one of them. The other one I'm going to send on down to Coats Are Us to build the city there. We're getting so many manufactured goods, it's incredible. 1 missionary from Machu Picchu, and then we'll sail around the shore right here up to Tiwanaku. We got an armory built in England's Folly. I don't think that we should build much of anything else here, other than working towards frigates. Okay, let's begin working on frigates. We got the armory built in Beaverton. Now we want to start working on getting the educational facility set up here. So we'll work on a schoolhouse, into a college, and then a university. Armory up in Baco. What we're going to do next is probably just military points to ensure that we get Dom Pedro. Let's go with that. And then the stockade is up in Hammerenville. We could consider building guns production here as well. I think that makes a lot of sense. We'll work on guns production here. Now, Washington Irving has offered to join our cause. We'll get +1 Liberty Bell per schoolhouse, and that increases by 1 Liberty Bell with every upgrade of the educational buildings. I'm not sure that that's a very good choice, but it would make keeping everybody at high revolutionary support very easy. All we have left in the political founding fathers is Washington Irving and Alexis de Tocqueville. We have no more trade founding fathers left to choose from, no more exploration. All we have left is religion, and then we just have Dom Pedro. We're making so many political points that we realistically might as well just kind of choose to take Washington Irving anyway, because we might as well in a lot of ways. So we'll take him. I forgot I have ships hanging out in Europe. It's a new day for me again for recording, so I always kind of forget a little bit of what I was doing the other day. So I need to decide what I want to buy now. Looking at my colonies, I think I need expert farmers and carpenters. I'll need 3 for the Coats Are Us city, expert farmers to be specific. I'll need some for ore mine, and then I'll need some more carpenters just to fill in everywhere. There's 1 person graduating next term, so I need to keep 500 gold on hand for statesman. Or I might want to keep 1,000 gold on hand to train him to be a tobacco planter instead. I think I'll train him to be a tobacco planter, so I need to keep 1,000 gold on hand, which means that I can spend 2,500 gold total. Let's grab 2 farmers, and then a carpenter. That leaves me with 1,626. It's not enough for a carpenter, but that's enough for another farmer. Put them on the merchantman, send them on their way, and send everybody else on their way as well. And we got ourselves another Spanish victim to sink. And does not look like we got any goods out of this one. The caravel actually escaped. We did get some coats though. We got another 200 coats. I'll take it. That's a pretty good trade for me. I did say I was going to use my frigate, didn't I? I'll have to remember to do that instead. Our land is pushing the Incans back already. We're growing very rapidly. The Incans, they're not upset about me stealing their land, actually. Interesting. Sitting Bull is at -1, but he's okay. I really might do the whole cross-production thing, but I might just do it with 3 colonists and not firebrand preachers. Alternatively, we could take the old American strategy of attacking the enemy that we made in the form of these armed braves. They're as strong as our soldiers, and Sitting Bull in particular has settlement attack bonus, as well as mountaineer bonus. So fighting them would be tough. Fighting them would probably require dragoons for offense, cannons against their settlements, and then soldiers for defense. I can do it. The Incans at least are going to be fine, as far as I can tell. We're going to make a point not to settle too far to the west over here to upset them, but Sitting Bull is decently likely to get quite upset with us. However, if we do the whole cross-production thing, just using some extra free colonists that we have sitting around, we can get some religious points. And there's quite a few founding fathers in the religion tree that we have not had the option of taking yet, such as Roger Williams, that will strengthen our relations. It'll even give us more native conversion for our missions. So I'm kind of inclined to go after them, but I'm very split because I definitely want to get Dom Pedro. Veteran 1 is a plus 10% on all of our mounted and gunpowder units, so all of our dragoons and soldiers, as well as Minuteman as well. But he's going to be some ways away. I'm definitely considering trying to take on the Spanish. They've got decent troops, primarily dragoons, 1 soldier, and a few more troops in these western colonies. I could take them on, and that would give my troops some training. Of course, everything that I devote into military is something I do not devote into economy and growing more population. At the same time though, if I were to take all of these colonies from the Spanish, and I only have 107 turns left before I have to declare war, independence, then that's a question as to whether or not I can even do it in time. If I take these colonies, I'll of course get the colonists that are in the colonies as well. And Spain has four colonies total. At this point in time, I could grab almost 16 colonists from these colonies. And that would be a major growth for me. That would be an entire other city of the size of Beaverton, or even, well yeah, almost like a combination of Rum Central and Denver. And we've got a lot of gun production now. We're pumping out 102 guns per turn in Remembrance, so that's 2 soldiers every turn. Our horse production is not there, it's at 28 production. I should probably get some more horse production rolling in other places. And we have enough free colonists coming in that our education system is slowing down. We are still able to get them educated reasonably quickly, but not particularly fast, considering the increase in education costs. So going up north and just hitting the Spanish does make a lot of sense. I think a war with Spain makes a lot of sense, and it gives us an opportunity to generate great generals. I can switch all of our military point production colonies over towards religious point production instead, and then we can just generate religion points using the colonies. We generate military points by attacking the Spanish. So let's get our first dragoon in quite some time right there. And we'll start building an army in Remembrance to take on the Spaniards. I think after these 2 frigates, we're going to start working on cannon production so that we can just attack the Spanish like crazy. Same thing with this guy. This guy is going to be a dragoon. So now we have 2 homebrew dragoons. We've been offered Roger Williams. I'll take that plus 25% native conversion rate from missions and the strengthened relations with natives, absolutely. That's a lot of points of past events that brought our people together. That's actually really helpful from Roger Williams. We built something in Rum Central. Next we're going to build a newspaper. And then we need to figure out, I think we're just going to train an expert lumberjack here in England's Folly. You don't have the money for anything else. Sell that off. Probably going to build some more farmers, or buy some more farmers. We actually need way more shipping vessels, holy crap. We are having issues. Yeah, the automated trade system is pretty dumb, unfortunately. Having issues with distribution of goods, but my colonies are so large that I think it's almost unavoidable. I need to fix some of these things and not say import all the time. Maybe that'll fix it. I am trying to make it so that they keep a standard amount of food, but sometimes I don't have much choice. We got a carpenter that's going to get sent over to Beaverton. A farmer that I think is going to get sent to Detroit. Another farmer that will get sent to the Coats R Us place. And we might as well send this other farmer to, well, out of horses, unfortunately. Might as well send him over to the Coats R Us town as well. So the freight will be done once we have some more tools in remembrance. I might need to turn off all tool automation and just do that manually. The same thing with the guns, most likely. We're going to work on cannons next. Same thing in England's Folly, we're going to build cannons. Yeah, tools I'm going to have to do manually. We would finish the college, but instead we're just going to go ahead and do religion points, and we'll do some education in the meantime. Yeah, I'm going to need some more wagon trains actually to automate everything for me. Oh yeah, so I was going to buy some stuff, that's right. I get so distracted by everything that happens. Like, there's always something to do. Just constantly. I think the education is actually different for every colony, looks like. Because these graduate in 8 turns. So every colony actually has their own measure of education. I tell you what, I don't need cannons, I need merchantmen. So we're going to build a... well, let's compare. Galleon is 100 tools, merchantman is 60 tools. Let's go for merchantman. I need more shipping vessels. I'm growing stupidly rapidly. Like really, like it's I'm growing so fast it's difficult to control where everything goes. Alright, coat facility is going up. What shall we call this coat facility? Let's call it Baytown. And Baytown is going to build, I think, a lumber mill, because we're going to get factories built there. Maybe the automation issue is just the setting a gun storage to be everywhere. That might be the problem. Training the free colonists that we just assigned to the schoolhouse is going to take 8 turns in Beaverton. In contrast, in Remembrance, it now takes 21 turns to train a colonist. So, I'm kind of thinking that we're done training people in Remembrance. We're going to probably just send them over to Beaverton instead. Or maybe England's Folly. They're at 13 turns, which is reasonable. I really hate the education system in this game. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Like, that's so dumb. In Europe, I think it's going to be best for us to grab... well, let me double check who my next education people are going to be. And how far away they're going to be. 3 to 4 turns, so we have plenty of time. We can spend all of our money. We need carpenters, and we need farmers all the time. So put them on the ship, send them on back. One missionary gets off the boat near Tiwanaku, and the other missionary is going to do his thing in Huamanga. 76% chance of success in Huamanga with an expert. Let's do it. We succeeded. Very good. Maybe I'm just not using the automated trade system correctly. Maybe that's it. Like, who knows? Yeah, I actually lost track of which farmers are going where. So I have one extra in Detroit that I really don't need to be in Detroit. We got the magazine built in Hammerville. Next up is going to be an arsenal. And we're going to import some gunsmiths. Got the lumber mill in Detroit. Next up is going to be a warehouse right after that. And then Alexis de Tocqueville offers to join us. Plus 50% education in all settlements. I will absolutely take him 100%. There's a French seasoned scout that wants to screw around in my land. And I'm going to kill it. 99% odds. We got him. Don't come into my land, France. I'll warn you. 63% chance of success of founding a mission in Tiwanaku. I'll just take it. We've got a bunch of positive relations with the Incans, so we should be okay if we fail. We succeeded, very good. Got another specialist trained up. I've been miscalculating how long it takes until I get more money. So we haven't been able to get more elder statesmen, so unfortunately I have to take a master carpenter instead. And we just need to build more and more merchantmen, just like constantly. I feel like I would build that merchantman, but I need to remember to move tools down there. Build more cannons, please. Got the warehouse in Detroit. Next we're just going to build a stockade just in case. Gabriel Layamont for 50% fast projection of church and cathedral. No, absolutely not. Bunch of money, and then need to think about what we need to buy next. I actually need more tools here. Constantly need more tools. I guess I'll automate the friggin' tools. I'll just have to specify where they come from and where they go to. I'll just have to have the tools flow into the cities that need them constantly, which is Remembrance and England's Folly. This Master Carpenter, I'm going to send him over to Detroit. Got some more Master Carpenters. One gets to be sent to Beaverton. I'd love to hear any feedback you have about the video in the comments below. I'm always looking to improve. If you enjoyed the video, giving it a like would help the video to reach other people that might also enjoy the video. If you'd like to see more, you can always subscribe. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.